Liotr plays his role perfectly. He stands before the improvised place of execution, formidable and emotionless, like the living embodiment of inescapable retribution. Commander, I am glad to see that you held up your end of the deal. The Mendev Inquisition thanks you. We will take custody of the criminal now. It's hard to read anything on Daeran's face. My, what a curious installation. Count Arende, the Mendev Inquisition finds you guilty of treason, criminal links to demonic cults, orchestrating the murders of several of this country's citizens who were killed and decapitated by you or your accomplices in Kenebres and a range of other places. I, Liotr Hawkblade, Inquisitor and Exterminator of the demonic blight by the grace of the Inheritor, have been authorized to carry out the sentence, death by fire. With the permission of the Commander, we will begin. Daeran darts a glance at you, seemingly lost for words. Bluff. I never really cared about you. I'll hand you over to the Inquisition without a second thought. The Inquisitor, who seems to be listening to something only he can sense, gives you a subtle nod. It appears everything is going as planned. The rest of your companions exchange bewildered glances, but keep watching without a word, understanding that something unusual is about to happen. Daeran seems shaken by your words. He looks away for a moment, then asks with feigned glee, "Burning at the stake? A trifle old-fashioned. I thought you'd offer something a little more sophisticated for your noble clientele. But what interests me most is, what's your role in all of this, Professor Severus Snape?" Bluff. My role? I was the one who reached out to the Inquisition and asked them to investigate you. Like a fool, you followed me, yet all the while I knew I would soon throw you to the church's slavering hounds. Liotr's face expresses undisguised approval. He shifts his stance, readying himself to fight. Anger flares up in Daeran's eyes, but he immediately hides it behind a mask of indifference. Such a highly commendable act by such a truly decent person. Wouldn't you agree, Commander? Liotr stands motionless like a statue. He stares at you expectantly, as if asking your permission to continue. Bluff. You are not my friend or my ally. You're just a bargaining chip. I'll have forgotten you entirely by the time the first of your blackened ashes are carried off by the winds of the Worldwound. Liotr gives a barely perceptible nod. A circle of runes start to glow faintly at his feet. I see no point in going along with this drama any longer. Daeran's voice drips with venom, the most contemptuous smile imaginable flashing on his lips. I have no desire to entertain you and your friend, Commander. Feel free to do whatever you have planned. I hope that your attempt to rid the world of Daeran Arende will not lead to any unforeseen incidents. With a blank face, the Inquisitor raises the torch. Let justice be served. There's a palpable shift in the surroundings. Everything seems to tremble, like in the moment before a thunderstorm. There are no bolts of lightning or rolls of thunder, but the sensation of some malicious presence, enraged and bewildered, rings through the air. We did it, Commander! It is coming, right into our trap! A scream of a dozen voices, soundless but powerful, drills into your ears and resounds over the land. The ritual circle drawn by the Inquisitor flares to life. Daeran wraps his arms around himself for a moment, clutching at his shoulders. With a slightly crazed look in his eyes, he surveys the area, his gaze never resting on anything in particular. His lips move, but no sound comes out. At last, the Count says, "It's over." I hope it is. The Commander and I spared no effort to home in on this entity, and then to lure it into a trap. I assume now you understand the real reason behind everything we put you through, Count. I am especially proud of my overly ruthless Inquisitor speech. I like you, Sir Not-So-Ruthless Inquisitor. It is a real shame that I shall have to kill you. Daeran, what are you talking about? Well, Daeran is speaking in a strange manner, apparently marveling at the sound of his own voice, tasting each word on his tongue. Either that, or the Inquisition will grip me by the throat and finally execute me, unless they decide to lock me up in some closed facility for clerics and mages that will look suspiciously like a prison. Liotr remains calm, despite the heavy toll of combat and the threat to his life. Count, you are without a doubt guilty of being in contact with a vile entity from the beyond and of concealing signs of its presence in Mendev and the Crusade. That makes you an accomplice to all the crimes committed by this other, whatever it is. Of course, Mendevian justice in all its glory. It is my duty to pass your case to the Inquisition Tribunal, but I am certain that the judges will take into consideration your youth and the extreme circumstances under which you first encountered the entity, and they will treat you with leniency. I seriously doubt that the death sentence will even be raised as a possibility. But, Liotr pauses. Count, can you still use your abilities as an oracle? What? What does that have to do with... You can. I am positive of it. I know how abilities like yours work. Unlike clerics, you do not gain your power by choice. You do not choose your destiny. You are simply chosen. The other, whatever it was, chose you. You became its gateway and thus acquired your power. Now it is dead, but this power still remains with you. This means that the gateway wasn't sealed with the death of its creator. Hence, you, Count, are an open road into the unknown, where these horrible head-collecting entities come from. You remain a threat, and this means that there's a high probability that the tribunal will decide to send you to a closed asylum, where you will remain under the church's supervision for the rest of your life. Do I get a say in this? Your achievements are great, Commander. Perhaps the Mendev Inquisition's tribunal will listen to your arguments, but I can't promise anything. Daeran, do you have anything to say about the gateway and all the other things Liotr is talking about? Daeran licks his lips nervously. Of all those assembled here, I may know the least about these creatures and what they were trying to do to me. I was simply instructed to keep my mouth shut, otherwise the next severed head would be my own, so I said nothing. I have been saying nothing for 10 long years, while they used me to come and go from this world as they pleased. I don't know how it works. I don't know if there's some road inside me or where it may lead. There must be another way to resolve this. Another way? I'm afraid there's no such way, Commander. Don't ask me to sacrifice my principles. I will never do that. The only thing I can say is that the tribunal's verdict, no matter what it will be, will most probably not be carried out as long as active hostilities continue in the Crusade. But after they are over, we will have to step in. Actually, there is another way. You can kill me right here and now. Daeran chuckles, then waves his hand and rubs his eyes tiredly. I am not joking, and I'm not being overly dramatic. I am not going to that damn tribunal, and I am not going to any damned asylum. This life, so-called life, they have prepared for me as everything I have ever hated with a little extra on top. I will not be able to live like that. I never even want to try. I would much prefer to take one final breath as a free man than to live decades more with a noose around my neck. Agree to hand Daeran over to the Inquisition Tribunal. Fine, the tribunal it is. And you expect me to be a good little boy and come quietly, do you? What are you doing? Daeran looks at you without a hint of regret. Well, as the saying goes, I have just taken my destiny into my own hands, and I must admit, it feels absolutely fantastic. After all those years living under the tyranny of foul creatures that use me as a door to their attic or whatever hovel they live in, I have finally made an independent decision of my own. This was the last stunt I will tolerate from you. The next time will end badly for you. Fine, but I can't promise anything. If I've ever dreamed of anything, it was of being my own master. I shall keep following you for now, but I haven't the faintest intention of seeking out a new keeper.